So the Oscars were last night, celebrating the best of the big screen, and it got me thinking about something called playing the movie forward. And you might have heard me talk about this before. It's a visualization technique that you can use when you're tempted to have just one drink. So what you do is you imagine you're drinking as a movie. And you make yourself think about what will really happen if you have just one drink. Like realistically, what's going to be the story of your evening and the following day? What would we see play out on the big screen? How will you feel by the end of the night? How much will you really drink? How will you feel when you wake up in the early hours of the morning, or when you are just struggling to get through the next day? This is a good exercise to do in writing, so you've got an actual record of it, like it there in black and white to reflect on. And when you're doing it, don't forget that your drinking movie isn't 90 minutes like the ones that you actually see at the cinema. It's going to be about 24 hours long, because that is how long you deal with the consequences of drinking for. I mean, it could actually be longer than that. If you really suffer with hangovers and you know that you're often still feeling the effects 48 or 72 hours later, alcohol stays in your system and affects you for much longer than we tend to realise. Anyway, last night's Oscars got me thinking about how much we love drama in our movies. Like, we want a gripping storyline, suspense, plot twists, all of it. And that is great when we're talking about a proper movie at the cinema. But we don't actually need that when we are talking about your life and your relationship with alcohol. So the mistake I see a lot of people making when they are weighing up whether or not it's time for them to quit is they start looking for the drama. And they'll say things to me like, well, nothing really bad has happened yet. Or, I just haven't had my rock bottom moment. Or, but my drinking doesn't look like the stuff you see in the movies. But the truth is, if you're like most of the women I work with, then your drinking is going to look pretty dull and unremarkable most of the time. You're just quietly drinking too much at home. You're just quietly feeling really miserable about it inside. You're just quietly getting up and getting on with your day and hiding that killer hangover and all that shame and regret that's inside. I often say, if you had to make a movie about my drinking, it would be incredibly boring and dull to watch. I mean, people would literally walk out halfway through. It would not be Oscar worthy in the slightest, because watching me drink and then fall asleep on my couch with the TV on, I wouldn't be interesting. It wasn't dramatic, but it was still bad for me. And talking of acting skills, I think I should have got an Oscar for going to work and acting like a normal human without a hangover. So it's important not to minimise that stuff as no big deal, because it was a big deal. It is a big deal. Here's what I invite you to do today. Play the movie forward on a really boring, dull drinking movie where nothing particularly dramatic happens. Maybe no one else sees you drunk and there are no huge consequences to your drinking, but there is still all the stuff that you notice, all the stuff that you feel and the thoughts that you have about yourself and your life. And that kind of drinking, God, it's a long way from rock bottom drinking, all the stuff that you would see in movies, but it is still so damaging, especially over time. So I'm going to write a couple of prompts beneath this video for you to have a read of and think about when you are just considering your 24-hour boring drinking movie. And then go ahead and share it in the comments if you like. How does your movie start? What happens a few hours in? What's going on by the morning, 12 hours into it, or 18 hours? Play it through in detail and get clear on what each drinking episode, which so often starts off as you thinking, well, it'll just be one drink. What does each one of those drinking episodes really, really cost you? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you.